Gotti was in the streets for real in Memphis, bro. Like, I ain't saying it because I'm signed to him. I just keep it real. If he won the street, nigga, I'd say he went in the street. He was in the streets, bro. Like, you gonna see Gotti. You in the city. The mall, I used to see Gotti in the mall, like the hood mall, like super hood, like down there, like you know you ain't shopping, you just came here to walk around. Like, literally. Big ass chains on, 100 with him, chopper Glocks, all that. But, you know, he cooled down a lot, bro. Like, Gotti was worse than me, probably, when he came in.
Well, I feel like, man, whatever you do wrong must come back around in a circle. Just like you know what I'm talking about? If you did wrong and everybody know it's blatant, the truth is out in the open. You sent that type of energy towards the Young Dolph way, and you got no Young Dolph knocked off. I talked to Govan. I did an interview with Hernandez Govan, the dude who said the whole, supposedly, you know what I'm saying, Dolph murder.
Hey, man, young rich, tell them bitch what it is, bro.
YPN shit, young fly nigga,
Look,
CMD
big,
shit, young rich nigga.
What's the first thing you plan to do?
Go hug my son.
Mr. Govan, you haven't smiled all this week, but obviously you have a lot to smile about. Just tell me just about what you're feeling in right now.
Like I said, it's kind of hard to explain the feeling of getting your life back.
It feels like CMG is falling apart right in front of us, and the streets can't ignore the tension anymore. For years, quiet talk floated around about cracks in Yo Gotti's empire, but those quiet whispers just turned into sirens blasting everywhere. Stan G, one of Memphis' most connected voices, sat down with no jumper and dropped what everybody else was too nervous to even hint at. The claim? Yo Gotti could actually be plotting against his own artist, Black Youngsta. And this isn't just some random internet rumor cooked up by trolls. This came from someone who's been face-to-face with the streets, speaking directly to the same people tied into Young Dolph's murder case. When Stan G speaks, it doesn't come off like messy gossip. It lands like a warning shot. During that interview, he didn't hold a single thing back. He laid it out plain, saying the same exact energy
I put out a story, the other day I put out a story, Young Ma had ended up catching a Rico, you know what I'm talking about, and I put out a story. An hour later, the news ran the same.
Gotti used against Young Dolph is the energy that led to Dolph's death. And here's the real chilling part. If Gotti could go that far with a rival he couldn't stand, what makes anybody believe he wouldn't flip the script on someone in his own circle if they suddenly became a threat? That's the part shaking everybody right now. Because if that's true, then nobody around him is actually safe. Stan G dug even deeper into the situation. He painted Black Youngsta as a fool guy, the one Gotti lined up to make the reckless plays, stir the wild beefs, and drop those outrageous videos that most rappers wouldn't even dare attempt. At first, that chaos was CMG's fuel, keeping them in the spotlight and giving the label a raw edge. But with Dolph's case still looming heavy, Stan G said that same role now makes Youngsta look less like an asset and more like a ticking time bomb. And in Gotti's world, ticking bombs don't survive for long. Fans picked up on it instantly. This wasn't just some dusty story being retold. It felt like a live warning happening right now. Stan G wasn't just filling time in an interview. He was ringing the alarm bell. His message cut straight. Watch your back. He even reminded everyone that in this industry, whatever energy you throw out is always coming back. And with the way Gotti moves, Youngsta's so-called loyalty could actually be the very thing that puts him in the crosshays. 4 years. CMG looked bulletproof. Gotti had the dream roster, Moneybagg Yo stacking hits left and right, Black Youngsta keeping the streets buzzing with wild antics, and then Glorilla came out of nowhere and blew up overnight. On the surface, it looked like one big family eating good together with no cracks in sight.
Hell, at this point, because you lost all the his last artist is Glorilla. She doing crazy because he putting a crazy bag behind Glorilla.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? So Glorilla, she gonna shine regardless right now. But when he go over there and dealing with them Texas boys, them folk got hit up. Them folk got hit up everywhere he go to, like the Fed watching it. You know what I'm talking about? He signed that boy over there, that boy ended up going to jail. So they watching that boy so close right.
But that picture doesn't match reality anymore. Moneybagg's momentum cooled down. Youngsta isn't bringing the same fire, and Gotti has shifted nearly all his focus on Glorilla, who's carrying the brand on her back. Now, instead of looking like a tight-knit empire, it feels more like a survival test. Everyone's asking the same question: who's really safe in Yo Gotti's kingdom? Then came the biggest red flag. Black Youngsta suddenly scrubbed CMG from his bio, and fans instantly caught it. He started posting captions that felt like subliminals, almost like quiet shots aimed at his own camp. Not long after that, Stan G dropped his warning, and that's when the whole thing shifted. It wasn't trolling anymore. It carried real weight. The vibe turned serious. Fans are noticing it too, because CMG doesn't look nearly as solid as it once did. Every post feels like a clue. Every move looks shady, and that loyalty they used to scream about is starting to sound hollow. To understand why tension between Yo Gotti and Youngsta is boiling over now, you've got to rewind the tape back to Young Dolph, because that's where the storm first took shape. Years ago, Gotti tried to sign Dolph, but Dolph shut him down cold. From that moment, it stopped being business and turned personal.
The only reason I didn't do it, like I could have went over there and got with Gotti and got the co-signer and sped my whole process up, but at the same time, I couldn't do it because I had too much of my own money and too much of my own time invested into it. So it wouldn't have made sense for me. You see what I'm saying? And man, it's like, that's Memphis, bro. That town is too small. You know what I mean? Like, whatever, if anything, if he wanted to do something, bro, it's like, let's do it. That town is small. You know what I'm saying?
I'm glad to hear that.
It's just Memphis one of them cities like that. You know what I mean? Like, if you pay attention, it always been a artist out the city saying, I'm the king of Memphis. That's why it done been so hard for other artists to pop out and take off, because everybody want to be that the big one is just me.
Gotti didn't just take the loss and walk away. He started throwing up roadblocks, trying to block Dolph's rise at every corner. But instead of slowing him down, it only pushed Dolph to shine brighter. That's when the whispers turned into full-blown war. Diss tracks started flying, public shots got nastier, and the street tension underneath it all was boiling hot. And who was right in the middle of it? Black Youngsta. He wasn't just rapping about the beef, he was living it. Pulling up in neighborhoods, filming reckless videos, and doing moves most rappers would never risk. That's what made him look fearless, but it's also what tied him deeper into Gotti's playbook. Back then, people brushed it off as part of Black Youngsta's wild image. But looking back now, those moves weren't just reckless, they were dangerous. Even Stan G labeled it federal moves, because Youngsta was putting himself in situations that could only bring heat down on his own head. So when Dolph was tragically gunned down in Memphis, the first spotlight...
Hey man, y'all rich tell them bitches what it is, bro.
Wild fan shit. Y'all fly niggas.
Look,
CMG
big.
shit. Y'all rich niggas. Every count shit.
Nah, I would never f them broke ass. That shit. When I was broke, why would I f them now they broke? It ain't my fault you broke. You weren't playing on me. I'm telling my mom. Ooh, I'm pregnant. Ooh. My shoe just fell out. Ooh, my head just fell out. Ooh.
It immediately swung toward CMG. Nothing was ever proven on Gotti or Youngsta, but the streets already had their verdict. And once your name is tied to something that heavy, it sticks forever. That's a shadow still hanging over CMG today. It's also why Youngsta no longer looks like the wild asset he once was. He looks more like a constant reminder of a scandal the label can't ever scrub away. 4 years, Youngsta was CMG's ultimate wild card. The spark plug, the chaos machine.
For a long time, see, it's a long story behind Black Youngsta. See, Black Youngsta was hanging with one of Gotti enemies before he got with Gotti. Okay. So Black Youngsta is somebody who just jump around for the money. He's just a send out. He one of the biggest send outs from Memphis.
The one turning up online, flashing ridiculous stacks of cash, and keeping the energy buzzing around the label. Whenever Gotti needed the spotlight, Youngsta would flip the switch. Fans used to crown him as a loyal soldier, the artist who would ride for CMG through absolutely anything. But now, with all the baggage surrounding Dolph's murder and the cracks forming inside the camp, that same loyalty looks like a liability. The question isn't just whether Youngsta can keep CMG hot, it's whether being tied to him could burn the whole empire down. But Stan G didn't view any of that as real loyalty, not at all. In his eyes, Black Youngsta wasn't standing strong for CMG. He was being played like a pawn. Stan flat out labeled him one of the biggest send-off in Memphis, basically saying Gotti kept sending Youngsta to carry out the risky, messy move that he himself didn't want to be linked to. And when you really think about it, the pattern lines up almost too perfectly. Gotti always carried himself as a calm, calculated boss who stayed in control, keeping his hands clean while moving the pieces around. Meanwhile, Youngsta was the one wilding out on camera, turning every beef into a full-blown spectacle, the face of chaos while the boss stayed untouchable in the background. It painted a picture that made Stan's words sound less like a theory and more like the truth the streets had been hinting at all along. But here's the catch. Roles like that don't last forever. After Dolph's death, all those antics stopped looking funny and started looking flat-out dangerous. Instead of being CMG Spark, Youngsta became the one carrying all the baggage. Every diss, every graveyard stunt, every reckless move, people tied it back to him. Now, he's gone silent. Stan G even claimed Youngsta is in hide mode, ducking the spotlight because the Dolph case is still alive in the streets. And in Gotti's world, that kind of silence looks like the end. To the streets, he looks finished. To Gotti, he looks like a liability. And that's exactly where the cracks get loud. Black Youngsta has gone viral multiple times for wiping CMG from his bio and screaming independence. Usually, it's a cycle. Fans speculate. He crawls back, nothing changes. But this time, the energy felt different. Right after Stan's warning echoed through Memphis, Youngsta started firing off long rants. These weren't random ramblings either. He was throwing darts, calling out fake CEOs, fake big homies, fake brothers. All title fans have been attaching to Yo Gotti for years. He even said he was done with fake love, fake loyalty, and putting his trust in the wrong people. And he didn't stop there. He vented about the rap game, questioning why so many claim to be gangsters while hiding behind music. At one point, he even said if someone's really a killer, then why not stand on that instead of pretending through songs? That wasn't the usual trolling Youngsta energy. That was frustration pouring straight from the chest. He admitted to losing friends, being left alone, and knowing that no matter how much money he stacks, he can still be touched at any moment. That's not flexing. That a man admitting danger is sitting right at his door. The timing was way too sharp to ignore. Fans were already whispering about cracks inside CMG, and here comes Youngsta basically confirming the smoke without ever dropping Gotti's name. Everybody caught the message instantly. But here's the twist. Yo Gotti has always styled himself as a mob boss. His name is built off John Gotti, and he leans heavy into that image. So when Youngsta threw out those fake CEO shots, Gotti didn't stay quiet. He clapped back his way, sliding mafia-coded bars over Jay-Z's legendary Dynasty intro. It was his way of flexing, reminding everybody who's really pulling the strings. In a mob-style setup, breaking rank isn't just disrespect. It's betrayal. And betrayal never ends clean. If you know, you know. That's why people say the real fracture between Yo Gotti and Black Youngsta hit its boiling point after Young Dolph's murder. That's when whispers of tension turned into something nobody could ignore. The streets were already pointing fingers at CMG. Gotti's own brother, Big Juk, got hauled in and questioned by police. And more recently, the alleged trigger man, Hernandez Govan, walked free after being acquitted, sending shockwaves through Memphis. The courtroom moment went viral. Cameras caught Govan embracing his defense team while Dolph supporters sat devastated, hoping justice would finally tip in their favor. The last thing Yo Gotti needed was someone from his own camp stirring the pot. But that's exactly what Black Youngsta did. He went viral for filming at a grave site beside a headstone with Dolph's last name carved on it. And he didn't stop there. He kept posting reckless content like he couldn't care less about the fallout. What Youngsta saw as loyalty and defiance, Gotti saw as poison to the brand. Fans clocked the shift immediately. What once looked like die-hard dedication now looked like recklessness that could sink the whole ship. From that point, the cracks inside CMG couldn't be hidden anymore. Moneybag Yo's buzz has slowed down heavy. 42 Doug is tangled in legal trouble, and Black Youngsta has all but vanished. Even Stan G pointed out that Gotti can't move the same way anymore. There's too much smoke around him since Dolph's death. Right now, the only one holding CMG together is Glorilla. But let's be real, one artist can't carry an entire empire. That's why fans aren't asking who's next to blow up anymore. They're asking who's next to fall out. And that's where the fear for Youngsta gets serious. Because Gotti isn't just another rapper, he's connected. Stan G made it clear, Gotti's ties reach high, and if he decides someone's career is over, it's over. If he wants legal smoke, that can happen too. So when Youngsta throws subliminal shots, it's not harmless rebellion. It's risky business. In Gotti's world, being labeled a liability doesn't just mean losing a record deal. It could mean losing everything. And let's be honest, if this really turns into war, it won't stay just music. Gotti moves like the president of Memphis, money, power, and influence that stretch way beyond the studio. If this gets violent, it won't just be just tracks flying. It'll be families, friends, and whole crews dragged into the crossfire. But at the same time, Black Youngsta isn't built to roll over. His silence and cryptic posts don't come out of nowhere. Insiders in Memphis have been saying for years that CMG tension was boiling, and now it's spilling into the open. What makes it darker is this: Youngsta knows too much. He's been in the middle of every feud, every street move, every headline tied to Yo Gotti. That history alone makes him dangerous, not just to CMG's image, but to Gotti personally. Think about it. When the Dolph War exploded, who was the loudest soldier riding for CMG? It wasn't Gotti. It wasn't Moneybag. It was Youngsta, reckless, unapologetic, and dragging the spotlight right where Gotti probably didn't want it. And now, years later, the same energy that once made CMG unstoppable is the very thing making Black Youngsta look like deadweight. The streets don't forget either. Fans still pull up those old clips of him wilding in graveyards, flashing stacks, and talking reckless in neighborhoods. To some, it looked like loyalty to the team. To others, it looked like self-destruction in slow motion. And with Dolph's murder still haunting the culture, Youngsta's name will never escape that shadow. That's why Stan G's warning hit different. He wasn't just talking rap beef, he was talking survival. In his words, Gotti's empire moves like a machine. And when one piece breaks down, it gets replaced. If the whispers are true, Youngsta isn't just replaceable, he's disposable. Fans are divided. Some say his recklessness brought this on, while others believe years of loyalty are being cashed in for nothing. Either way, the cracks inside CMG aren't rumors anymore. They're showing in real time. He's emotional, raw, and never scared to say what's on his mind. That makes Black Youngsta unpredictable. But unpredictability mixed with Yo Gotti's cutthroat business style, that's a ticking time bomb. Fans are already bracing themselves, because nobody wants another tragedy like Dolph. Now, with Youngsta taking shots at fake CEOs and Stan G basically warning Gotti could ice him out, the writing on the wall is too big to ignore. This feels way deeper than rap, it's survival. If CMG doesn't lock this down fast, they risk losing way more than one artist. They could lose the entire legacy that made them look untouchable. And the question hanging over everything is simple: how far will Yo Gotti go to protect his throne? Because if Stan G is right, Youngsta isn't just in the middle of industry politics. He could be standing at the edge of something way darker. So now it's your turn. Do you think Gotti is really plotting against his own artist? Or is Youngsta spiraling out of control? Drop your thoughts below, because the streets are watching this one closely, and it's far from over. And before you dip, hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe to Mick Whispers for more of the wildest celebrity drama. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's next. Click the video on your screen right now for even more chaos straight from the world of fame and power.